Well, hey everyone, welcome to the latest edition of Inside the Headset with Zach Tucker. This week's Carolina Classic Fair Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week presented by West Shore Home features Reidsville and Eastern Alamance. Let's go ahead and head inside the headset with both coaches. Joining us now, we have Reidsville's head coach, Coach Teague. Coach Teague, thanks so much for joining us today. And your team so far this season, you guys have started 3-0, and just kind of take us through your thoughts on the team overall.
Big part of the story for us has been trying to get some guys back from injuries. We've had several returning players from last year that have been battling some injuries, trying to get them back on the playing field. And through the first 3 weeks, we haven't played our best football yet. We've played really good in spurts and quarters. We haven't put together a full game yet, and we know we're going to have to do that this week against Eastern Alamance.
And for those who are watching this, tell us about some of your key players.
Our quarterback has been big. He's been one of our consistent players, Al Lee, number 14, and then with him throwing the ball to number 0, our big tight end, Kendra Harrison. We've had several different guys. Paul Waterman has been really big for us, a senior linebacker and running back. He's been really important to our success so far this year. And then on the offensive line, defensive line, we have several guys that go both ways being a 2A program. So we have Tyrese Turner, number 55, Titus Burson. Those guys up front play a lot of snaps, special teams too. So those guys and some of our other seniors have, on defense, Aiden Mansfield, being a senior linebacker, is a guy that's stepped up a lot of times on defense. And then we've had a lot of guys, because of injuries, have had to step up. We've had anywhere from freshmen to sophomores, juniors, all the way through the roster. They've had to get some playing time these first 3 weeks, so we've had a lot of guys step up.
In the offseason, your dad stepped down as the head coach here at Reidsville. You took over after being many years as the team's offensive coordinator. Now that you have a few games underneath your belt, what's that transition been like for you? These
first couple weeks has really been kind of getting in the routine of exactly what a game week looks like as far as all the behind-the-scenes stuff. So anywhere from all the paperwork stuff that we have to do, from practice schedules to practice scripts, and get all the way down to naming who the team captains for the week that are going to be that go out for the coin toss. There's all those little small detail things that I've never had to do before that I'm just kind of trying to get in the routine. I talk to several guys on Fridays. I always feel like my Friday is just filled with constantly feeling like I'm forgetting something. So I think I'm finally starting to kind of get the routine down now that we're headed into our 4th week. This is the time of the season where the non-conference schedule starts to wind down, but for you guys, why was it important to schedule Eastern Alamance? We always want to play good opponents early in the season to kind of see, when you play good folks, they expose kind of where you need to improve on, and that's a big thing for us. Is we want to play good people early on and kind of see where we're at, and then that helps us prepare for conference play, and then as we try to make a run throughout the playoffs. Yeah, and talking about tonight's matchup, what are some of the keys to the game? Defensively, for us, they have 2 really good running backs, and they have an experienced quarterback. He started last year, so he's coming back, and then they're always really good up front, and they're well coached. Coach Kirby and his staff has done a good job for a long time, so we know they're going to be well coached. They're going to be tough, and then we're going to have to stop the run first. But then they also have some weapons outside with the experienced quarterback, and then defensively they have, I think, the leading tackler in the state back. So they got some really good linebackers and some really good guys up front. So we know going into it, it's going to be a tough task, and we're going to play our best football for 4 quarters to have a chance at the end of it. And what's kind of interesting about this matchup is both teams come into this game 3-0. So somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. But what do you think it'll mean to your program to come out on top? Yeah, so like I said, we're trying to, main thing for us is we're trying to play the best that we can. And then I think as far as who wins and who loses, at the end of the season, it's going to be beneficial for both of us just based on overall records, because of the way that the conference is, the way that the playoffs is seeded by RPI. We help them, they help us, so that's another reason why we want to play good folks. But we want to play good people, we want to play good, and we're just hoping that is us on top at the end of the 4th quarter. Going off of that, I know that Coach Kirby has a good relationship with your dad. What's your relationship like with Coach Kirby? Growing up, he's been, just one of my dad's, coaching buddies that he's been around. He coached with him at Eastern Alamance. My dad was back earlier in his career, so he's a guy I've known, that I've seen around, and has been just kind of a family friend since, as long as I can remember. And so I texted him earlier in the week, and he was asking how my dad was doing and how everything was going. So he's just, we have several coaching friends, especially in this area, that are just good guys and always looking out to, for those are the guys you look to for advice. The guys have been doing it a long time, so it's nice to have those kind of people in your circle.
And although it is still early on in the season, what is your biggest message to all the Rams fans out there?
Again, we're trying to put 4 quarters of our best football together. I think we've been playing really good in spurts. We've had several quarters where we scored 21, 28 points in a quarter, and then we've had a couple quarters where we haven't scored at all, haven't got a first down at all. So defensively, we're trying to play with a little bit more aggressiveness, trying to fly around a little bit more, running the football a little bit better on defense and tackle a little bit better, and then offensively just avoiding penalties and just trying to stay on pace and put the ball in the end zone. So we're working hard. They're having a good week of practice this week in this heat, so they're hoping that pays dividends.
All right, well, thanks so much, Coach Teague, for your time. Appreciate it, and good luck the rest of the way this season. All right, well, joining us now, we have Coach Kirby of Eastern Alamance. Coach, thanks so much for your time today and being able to speak with us about tonight's big game. Just kind of take us through so far this season. Your team is 3-0, and what's gone right for your team so far?
Well, I think going into our season, we're senior dominant, and we've got some guys who have been here before. We're defending conference champions, and I think our guys are a little hungry to try to get a little bit farther than what we've been. But we played a rugged non-conference schedule. We played a great Northern Guilford team last week, and a really good Eastern Randolph team week 1. And this week Reidsville, no slouch. I mean, they're the defending state runner-up. They got like 10 state championships in the last so many years. And you talk about football and football country, and Reidsville High School is the one that kind of pops into everybody's mind when you talk about that. So, we feel like it's going to be a good challenge for us, a good challenge for our kids, and it'll be good for our community.
For those who are watching this and might not be familiar with your football program, tell us about some of the key playmakers.
Right now, Jason Ball's our quarterback, and he's a 2-year starter, 4-year player, and is a leader on and off the field for us. He's a coach on the field and really leads our offense. We've got 2 running backs that returned from a year ago, senior Josh Murray and junior Tyreek Samuel. Both of those guys rushed for over 1,000 yards a year ago, but what they're missing is that offensive line that was in front of them a year ago. We graduated 4 out of 5 with only 1 back. Gene Caminos is our 1 lineman back from a year ago, but we got a stable full of receivers that played last year as well. So we've got some talent in some skill spots, but we got some growing up to do up front. Defensively, Javante Petit, Peyton Wright are our 2 mainstays. Those are both 4-year players for us. They had to come up and play during the COVID year, and they do a good job of anchoring our defense and kind of making it happen. We felt like, defensively was going to be our strong point. Northern Guilford thought a little bit different last week, and they hung some points on us. But, I think it's all it's a learning curve for our players and our team, and this week's just another stepping stone, and we hope tonight will be a good night.
The non-conference schedule is kind of winding down a little bit for really all the teams this point in the season, but why was it important to have Reidsville on the schedule this year?
Well, I think that, they've been on our schedule for the last few years, and we were not able to play them year 1 because of COVID. And then last year we went to their place, and I mean, it was a dogfight. We felt like we lost the game, but we gained a lot of experience and a lot of, we felt like there were some spots that they exposed us in that allowed us to fix those spots to where it helped us, propel during the season. This year's no exception. If you look at their roster, there's a whole lot of names on that roster on the other side that were there a year ago, and they got the big tight end and defensive end that's a national recruit, and I think they got big time players, big time program, and we want to be a part of it.
Coach Jimmy Teague was the coach there for many years. I know that I've spoken to you previously about your relationship with him and having some coaching experience with him as well. Coach Teague stepped down, and now his son is taking over the program. What's that going to be like seeing a new face on the other sideline?
Well, Coach Teague hired me here at Eastern Alamance years ago, and a long time ago at Eastern Alamance, where he was the head football coach here. And nothing but respect for Coach Teague and the years that he put in. And you know, I remember Eric when he was born, and you know, I think that he's followed in his dad's footsteps, and I think that he's learned a lot, and he's probably young and got some things that he's probably going to put his own little flavor on it. And I think that that program will continue to flourish, and I think Daddy's going to be close by in the backgrounds, but I think Eric's going to do a great job there.
Now tell me a little bit about some of the keys to the game tonight and what might help put you guys on top.
Well, I feel like that we've got to control the line of scrimmage, and you know, last year we didn't. I felt like last year their defensive front kind of dominated us, and we've got to be able to keep the ball out of their hands because they're such a high-powered offense. But you know, you look at their defense is pretty high-powered too, and you know, we can't turn the ball over. A year ago we had a multiple of turnovers that led to, you can't beat a whole lot of people if you turn the ball over. And you know, I think that we turned the ball over, but I think they had a lot to do with it. And eliminate mistakes, try to win special teams, and just try to control the football and keep it out of their hands as much as we can.
Both the Rams and the Eagles coming to this matchup, both 3-0. What would it mean to your program to be the victor in this game?
Well, you know, we're off next week, and this is our last, I guess you call it, tune-up game before our conference schedule starts, and it'd be big to our program to beat a caliber team as the Reidsville. But you know, we're not going to put all our eggs in that one basket and say, you know what, the season's going to be over with if we don't. Our goal is tonight is to go out and play the best we can play and just see what happens. But I feel like if we can go out and we can play the way we're capable of playing, it should be a great football game.
Now, sometimes things happen off the field that are a little bit out of your control, and the whole, you know, mold situation with all the Alamance Burlington schools and kind of delaying the start of the school year for you guys. What's that experience been like, and you know, has that affected your football team at all? Football
seems to be a year-round thing now, and so you know, we started in the spring, and then we escalated to the summer, and so we've been here. And it just so happened, you know, that we're going through a situation right now where a lot of these schools have, you know, they're having to take care of mold situations, and our school is one of them. And so we haven't been in school yet, and if somebody had told me that get through your non-conference schedule and you're still not in school, I'd tell them they're crazy. But you know, it hadn't really affected us. You know, it's been kind of nice, to be honest with you, in that we haven't gone to school, but we're able to come and practice, and we've been able to focus a lot on football instead of school stuff, which it's not why we're getting paid, but it's been a good deal. And you know, I think that too, we've adapted. We're trying to make the best of what we got, and you know, it's just an obstacle that we've had to jump through, and hopefully we'll be back in school here soon.
What's your biggest message to all the Eagles fans out there about your team this season?
Well, you know, I think that Mebane is a tight-knit community. We're very blessed to be here where we are in this community, and the little town of Mebane loves football. They love Eastern Alamance High School, and they love their football team. And Friday nights is a great night here. If you ever want to go steal something in Mebane, you ought to go on Friday night, because they'll probably be over here. But you know, we got a lot of support, and I think that you know, as long as we can continue to be exciting, I think those people will continue to come out and watch our football team. And you know, we want them to love us and to keep working and keep supporting these Eagles, and because these kids deserve it. They work hard.
All right, well, thanks so much for your time, Coach. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Thanks so much for tuning in for our Inside the Headset segment. For more updates, subscribe to the ABC 45 YouTube channel.